Hello, Wayne Vose here. Welcome back to our Profits Unlimited podcast channel. And we're sitting here in 2020. We're going to talk a little bit about goals. And, the fun thing that I like to talk about goals, I thought would be fun about this talk is, everybody talks about and making the relationship between 2020 and having perfect vision and being able to see. And that's where I thought, this directly relates to our goals as well. Because, 2020 vision being perfect vision. But when we're trying to set goals for our company, one thing, I don't want you to try to be perfect with that. Because, good friend of mine, old Vince Lombardi, says, we can't achieve perfection, but we can achieve excellence. And how do we achieve that excellence? Through goal setting is what I want to talk a little bit about today. And how Wayne's Lawn Service and Profits Unlimited has set goals and why it's so important to set that goals. And first thing you want to look at is, did you have goals last year for your company? Or were you just happy to be in business? A lot of times, we're just like, man, I want to do this and I want to do this. We got all the wants, but we don't have the how we're going to do it. I want to be successful. I want to do more yards. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to have this. But do you have a plan, and have you developed a plan on how you're going to get the things you want? And that's where it comes into the importance of setting goals. Even if you're a very small company, and when I mean very small company, let's just say you've got a full-time job doing something else, and you're mowing a few yards on the side. You still need to have goals. You're watching this video, and that company size, you should have goals. Vose, my last name, right? Vose and goals. We got to figure out a way to work that into this thing, and maybe I will before it's over with tonight. But let's think about, did we achieve our goals for 2019 looking back? Because, it's kind of like using the rear view mirror in the car. It's 2020, right? We look behind us, we know what's there. But when we look out the windshield, we see what's coming. But when we're driving that car down the street, are we going to stay in the same lane, or are we going to get in another lane for a change? And we'll talk about how setting goals helps you get out of the same lane maybe that you've been in and you've been driving in for so long, and you're thinking, I want to do things different. I want to see different results. I want this to happen. But we got to get out of the lane that we were in if we want different things to happen. And it doesn't mean you got to change your company necessarily. It's just as simple sometimes as just setting goals for your company. And they don't have to be, 5-year goals, 10-year goals, 1-year goals, 3 months goals. All the time we're thinking, okay, how long, I want to set goals up, but how long should I set these goals out? Have a 30-day goal. Shoot, have a daily goal. What do you want to do tomorrow? That's a goal, right? Hey, this is what I want to do tomorrow. This is what I'm going to do next week. This is what we'd like to achieve a month from now. And when we look at growth for our company, whether it's through customer acquisition or whatever it may be, just new sales to existing customers, how are we going to change our lane? How are we going to change direction and do something a little different than the way we did it before? And it's a simple answer. Have a plan. How are you going to get there? It's kind of like when you're getting ready to go on vacation or go hunting or going to fish, do whatever you like to do, read a book. Hey, you want to do something, but you got to set a plan to get there. And your company that you're running, regardless of the size, is the same thing. You got to have a plan. And the plan starts with good goals. Okay? We got to have those short-term goals, medium-range goals, long-term goals, and know that as the longer and further out that we set that goal, let's say you got a 90-day goal or 120-day goal or a 6-month goal or a year goal, as we're progressing toward whatever that goal was, how we set that goal and what we wanted to achieve, the further out it is, the more realistic it is that we're going to have to change maybe our methodology on how we're getting there. Maybe your plan is working perfectly. If that's it, great. If the plan's not working perfectly, adjust it. run over, get in another lane, do something different. But set goals. You know, there's an acronym that's used all over the world called SMART goals. And, you know, the way I look at SMART goals, and it's very similar to a lot of other people, but when you look at SMART goals, it's specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Okay? Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. And let's look at all those really quickly. Okay? A specific goal. I want to add 10 more residential lawns this year. Or I want to add a million more square feet to my commercial spraying applications this year. Or residential applications. Or I want to sell 200 more yards of mulch this year. Or 2,000 more yards of mulch this year. I want to sell 2 truckloads of bag material this year. I want to sell a pallet of bag material this year. Doesn't matter what it is, but make sure that we got a specific goal and something that you can measure along the way as you're getting toward that goal. And we look and see, is that an achievable goal? Okay, the A side of that. Can we achieve it? How are we going to achieve it? Is it realistic? Because sometimes what we think we can achieve and what's realistic about achievement may or not hit at the right intersection. You know, sometimes your ego gets involved and you say, oh yeah, I can do that. I'm going to set that goal way up here. But so even though we think we can achieve it, it may not be a realistic goal for us to actually achieve. So there's no sense in setting a goal too high and not getting there. Now, I'm not telling you on the opposite side of that to set something too low that's too easily to achieve. My dad used to tell me that all the time. He said, Wayne, he said, if you're going to set a goal, don't make it easy to achieve, because when you get it or you hit it from a selling perspective, you haven't achieved anything. Okay? But set it high enough to where it's realistic where you can get there, but you're going to have to work to get there. And from a timely standpoint, make sure that what you're doing is timed properly. And this is just one aspect of the timely aspect of this. But, you know, it's like now, it's January 6th. We're in Louisville, Kentucky. You know, now's not the time to be looking for residential lawn work. But it's certainly time that we can have our feet in the street out there looking for commercial work. Okay, so if it's fertilization and weed control, you know, now's a good time. And, you know, everybody's market's different. But in our market here in Kentucky, specifically Louisville, where we're at, we're coming up on a real good time to start targeting February 1st of February, targeting residential people for lawn care from a fertilization and weed control standpoint, because we're going to another mid-February, you know, we're putting those pre-emergents down. So make sure that whatever the service is that you're trying to time properly, that if it's going toward fertilization and weed control, know when the best time to do that is. If it's going toward mowing, know when the best time to do that is. Just today, here within our business, January 6, 2020, we sent out the mailing about scheduling mulch early. Okay, so there's different things that you can solicit from your customers, whether they're your existing customers or new customers that you're looking at. Just make sure that your timing on that is good and right for the services that you're offering, because it's not a shotgun approach where one size fits all. And certainly, last but not least, and we talked about it briefly, look at the progress of those goals as you're moving along. Have your daily goals, your weekly goals, your monthly goals. Those are going to be a lot easier and more, what's a good word? Help me with that. Put your hat on for a second. Let's think about it. I don't want to say achievable, but the shorter that goal is for you to hit, whether it's a daily goal, weekly goal, monthly goal, you got to have a well-defined plan to get there, because you're not going to have a whole lot of time for adjustment in it. But remember, as that goal goes out 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, you're going to have time to adjust those. The main thing I want you to leave here with this is know that you need to have goals for your company 2020 for sure, because that's the current, right? But let's know that anytime we want our companies to be more successful, more profitable, we can't do it without a good plan, and the plan starts with the goal. Remember, profit is not a dirty word.